Okay, today we're learning about God's favorite colors, and we'll tie it in with the tragedy that happened over Shabbat with those 3 kidnapped boys, because we know there are no coincidences. So somehow the Parsha of Tzitzis ties in with the tragedy that we are going through, all of us, or we're like one family. There's an amazing Parsha of Tzitzis, we'll see that in a minute, of how why a blue and white is God's favorite colors. I'm wearing, see, a blue tie. I'm wearing a white shirt. Also have a white pen. See? So God's favorite colors. The question is, why is it God's favorite colors, right? So the Parsha of Tzitzis is blue and white, right? The Torah says that you shall put tchil tchelet on your tzitzis. The tzitzis are blue and white. What's the symbolism of the blue and white? Says Rav Soloveitchik, something amazing. The white represents clarity. We can see God's hand, God's purpose, God's plan very clearly. That's the white. It's crystal clear when God is Hashem, Rachum v'chanun, whatever He does is compassionate. We can see it's clear as day, as white. But then we have the blue. The blue, says Rav Soloveitchik, represents the mysterious, wide blue yonder. The blue makes us look up at the deep blue, mysterious sky, beyond human understanding, the vast, endless expanse of space, the mysterious deep blue. And that represents the mysterious, the mystery of why does God allow tragedy to strike. So the white is when we see God's hand very clearly. It's clear as day. And the blue is the tragedy that all the countries going through right now, the kidnapping and all the tzarot that we go through. It's mysterious. It's blue. It's like the wide blue yonder. Off we go into the wide blue yonder. It's beyond human understanding. But both of them are tied together. So that's the symbolism of the tzitzis. Whether I understand what's happening, it's clear as day, or whether it's mysterious. It's all geknippt and gebinden. How do you say that in English? It's all knotted together, comes from the same source. It comes from the same source. It's all HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we don't know why. It's too mysterious for us. So this same idea, and therefore tzitzis equals 613 mitzvahs. Rashi quotes the Gemara in Menachot. The Torah says, Uritem oto uschartem es kol mitzvot Hashem. When you do tzitzis, it's like you're doing all the mitzvot. Why is tzitzis like all the mitzvot? It's only one. Rashi said the gematria of tzitzos is 600, 8 strings and 5 knots. You have your what? 613. So why? Why does tzitzis somehow symbolize the 613 mitzvot? To answer this question, Ruvain, we're going to ask another. Because a Jew always answers a question, another question. Why is Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad? Why is that the most important statement of the Jewish religion? If you want to sum up Judaism in one sentence, it's Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. That's Yahadut. 1 minute, please. That's Yahadut in one sentence. So Rav Soloveitchik explains it's the same idea. Shema Yisrael, you're talking to the guy in the mirror. Listen, Jew, Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei, so yeah, that's Rachamim, that's the Lavan. The Yud Kei Vav Kei is the Lavan. When things are clear, I see God's loving hand so clearly. That's the Hashem. That's Midas HaRacham. That's the Lavan. Elokeinu, what's Elokeinu? Kidnapping. Tzarot, that's Din. That's the Lavan, Ruvain. Hashem Echad. It's all together. I'm testing you. Steve Irwin. Elokeinu is the Din. That's the blue. That's the mystery. Hashem Echad. It's all tied together. Whatever God does serves a good purpose. Even though we can't see, sometimes we can see the Lavan. It's crystal clear. Yud Kei Vav Kei Rachamim. Sometimes it's Elokeinu. All we see is Din, represented by the blue string, the mysterious blue. That's from our perspective, Avram. But from God's perspective, Hashem Echad. It's all what? White. It's all Yud Kei Vav Kei. It's all Rachamim. Do I see it? I don't see it. So I go like this. Hashem Echad, I go like this. I can't see it, Nechama, but I believe it. So when you look at your tzitzis, you remind yourself, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, whether it's the white, the Yud Kei Vav Kei, whether it's Elokeinu, whether it's the mystery, the blue, why we have to suffer. Hashem Echad. It's all together. Somehow the two sides of the same coin. It all comes from God. Somehow it's all for the best, Nechama. Do I see it? No. So I cover my eyes. But I believe it. That's Judaism. That's why Tzitzis and Shema Yisrael go hand in hand. That's the Jewish religion in one mitzvah and one sentence. That whether it's the white or the blue, it's all Echad. I can't see it, so I'll cover my eyes. But Zechariah tells us, Zechariah in Perek Yudalid, and we end every davening with that, Bayoimahu, Yiyeh Hashem Echad, Ushmo Echad. Bayoimahu, Bayoimahu, Hashem Echad, Ushmo Echad. In that day, God will be one and His name is one. So the Talmud says in Psachim, now He's not one? What do you mean He will be one, Nechama? He's not one now? Yeah, now He's one, but I can't see. I see blue and white. I see Rachamim and Din. I see suffering and tragedy. I believe He's one, but I can't see it. But Zechariah 14 promises there'll come a time, Bayoim Ahu, Yiyeh Hashem Echad, Ushmo Echad. Well, I won't have to cover my eyes anymore, Ephraim. L'olam haba, l'ased lavo. I'll see how the blue and the white is really all white. How even what we think is din and suffering is really Hashem Echad. From our perspective, it's blue and white. But from His perspective, Hashem Echad. It's kulo l'tova. I don't see it, but I believe it. That's Yahadut. But Bayoim Ahu, Yeh Hashem Echad, Ushmo Echad. In the Olam Haba, we'll see how even the tragedy in life somehow contributed to what? To the ultimate good. So the blue and white, that's why it's such an important mitzvah. Buy one, get 613. Jews love bargains. Buy one, Avram, get 613. Gemara Menachot, page Mem Gimel. Because that's Yahadut. That's the same reason why Yishma Yisrael is the most important statement in Judaism. You see how they're tied together? Excuse my pun. Tied together. The Yud Kei Vav Kei is the white. The Elokeinu is what? The blue. The mystery. Why suffering? Blue and white, Hashem Echad.
Why isn't it green?
What?
Why isn't it green?
Because the blue, the deep blue sky, it's mysterious. The blue, we'll talk about blue. We'll talk more about that. But anyway, the Torah says, Uritem oto. Uritem oto, uschartem is called B'tzos Hashem. What does Uritem oto mean? Oto in Hebrew, who knows Hebrew here? Oto means him. Not it. Oto is not it. In Hebrew, oto means him. Says the Talmud, the Menachos, Bavli Mem Gimel, and Shalmi Brochot, Uritem oto. If you perform the mitzvah of tzitzis with tchelas in this world, Uritem oto. You will see him in the next world. You get to see the boss. What do you mean you get to see the boss? The boss is not physical. You'll get to see how the blue and the white all make sense. Uritem oto, ischartem is called mitzvah Hashem. What does Gemara Menachos Mem Gimel Shalmi Bracha saying? You'll get to see him. By wearing the tzitzis, by inculcating the amunah, that whether it's blue or white, whether it's rachamim or din, it's all knipped together, it's all tied together, then in Olam Haba we'll see it. We'll see him. How whatever God does is kula l'tova. Now we believe it. We can't see it, so we cover our eyes. Echad. But the Osed Lava, Olam Haba, Rita Moto, will see how even the din, the punishment, the blue somehow is tied together with kulo tov, hakol l'tova, Rita Moto. So why dafke blue? That's God's favorite colors. Remember? Neil Armstrong was on the moon. He saw the earth as what? Kachol v'lavan zeh tzeva sheli. I won't give up my day job. Don't worry. Kachol v'lavan ze tzeva sheli. Right? Blue and white. See, blue tie, white shirt.
White pen.
Right? And a white pen, right? Why is that God's favorite colors, right? He said it's God's favorite colors. If you look by Kabbalah Satorah, back in Parshas Mishpatim, the Torah tells us that the Jews had a mystical vision of God at Kabbalah Torah. That mystical vision of Hashem they had. And it says, Vayiru et Ehei Yisrael, in Mishpatim, Exodus 24, Pasuk 10, Vayiru et Ehei Yisrael, they saw the God of Israel at Kabbalah Torah, V'tachas raglav kemase livnat hasapir. Maze livnat. Lavan, sapir. They saw underneath God's feet, whatever that means, they saw that his throne is made up, Reb Zalman, of Lavan, livnat, Lavan, and sapir. God's favorite colors are blue and white. Madua. Says Rashi, the Lavan, how do you say levanim in Hebrew? Bricks, levanim, right? Rashi says, Liskar tsarotan shel Yisrael, shehoya mishibadim b'masa levanim. You know why God had a white brick underneath his kaviochel, his throne? God feels the pain of every Jew. The Jews were suffering making bricks. Says Rashi, hoyte lefanav b'shat hashibud. Liskar tsarotan shel Yisrael, shoya mishibadim b'masa levanim. That they were enslaved making bricks for the Nazis. So God, to feel the pain of the Jew, Kaviochel had a symbol of Jewish suffering underneath his throne. And the sapir, hoy shelafonov, the idea of the suffering, the sapir, the blue, and the white is when the Jews were freed. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kaviochel felt like a burden off of his Kaviochel, his heart. Hoy or v'chedva lefanav. When the Jewish people were freed, there was or v'chedva lefanav. What does that mean? All right? So what's the message? What does Hashem want from us with this vision? Why did he show the Jewish people bricks and lavan and sapir? What's the message? That God feels the pain of every Jew. And we have to feel the pain of every Jew. We have to be united. We have to feel the pain of these families, of the kidnapped victims. Identify with their suffering, because God does. We don't know why it happened. It's a mystery. It's beyond blue, the wild blue yonder. But whatever it is, we have to feel the pain of every Jew, identify with that pain, and be mispalel. And this year is, Hashem should send them a refuah and atzlacha b'korav mamash. We should say a kapitel Tilim. We should say, Shir Malot, okay? Okay, say Shir Malot, Mimakim Gosich Adonai, Adonai Shima B'koili, Tiyenos Lecho Geshuva Zakol Tachmunai, Im Avonos Tishmaya, Adonai Miyamoid, Kimcha Slicha Laman Tivore, Kvish Adonai Kivsa Nafshi Vore Cholti, Nafshi Adonai B'Sharmin Laboker, Sharmin Laboker, Yaches Al Adonai, Kim Adonai Chesed Arbim B'Fidus, Vu Yiv Des Yisrael, so getting back to the idea of tzitzis. To look up at the sky, to see events more deeply, says Rav Soloveitchik, to admire the immense vastness of what? Of the Ein Sof. Kachol v'lavan. Kachol v'lavan. Now, it's just amazing that you should put tzitzis al kanfei bigdeihem. You shall put tzitzis on the wings of your garments. Rabbi Yaakov, last time I checked, my garments didn't have any wings. Yeah, but the word kanaf in Hebrew means what? Wing. Kanfei nisharim. You hear? So Rashi's puzzled. It says, al kanfei bigdeihem. Should have said, al pinat bigdeihem. Rabbi Yaakov, you know, God knows Hebrew. How do you say corner? Al pinat bigdeihem. Why does God say put the tzitzis al kanfei bigdeihem on their wings of their garments? says Rashi something amazing. Al kanfei bigdeihem keneged v'esa eschem al kanfei nisharim. This is to remind us that God carried us on the wings of eagles. That's the name of a movie the OU is showing next week. The Wings of Eagles. It's a pasuk in the book of Exodus, Parshas Yisro, by Kabbalah Satorah. V'esa eschem al kanfei nisharim. God says, I carried you on the wings of eagles. So somehow when you're wearing tzitzis, it's a virtual what? Rejuvenation of that trip where God bore us what? On the wings of eagles. Kanfei, when you're wearing tzitzis, you're being carried on God's magic wings. Now one more thing, Rivka. Why? Rashi says, how come arba kanfot? If your beged has 3 corners or 5, do you have to wear tzitzis? No, dafke arba. Why? Says Rashi, keneget arba lishonot shel geula. The reason that a garment of 4 corners needs tzitzis is the same reason you drink 4 cups of wine at the Seder. Did you know that? You didn't know that.
4 verses of redemption?
Right. Rashi says the reason that the tzitzis has 4 corners is for the same reason we drink 4 cups of wine on Pesach. Keneged arba lishonot shel geula. V'otzeiti, v'yotzalti, v'ga'alti, v'lakachti. Somehow by wearing tzitzis, we're recreating that magic moment of the Exodus, of Geula. We're being born on God's wings. And therefore, it says, put tzitzis on the wings of your garments. And it doesn't say pina, corners of the garment. Now, what does that mean? Were we creating that Exodus experience, hugged by the one above? Right, Nikima? Yes. What's the message over here? So now, the reason why you drink 4 cups of wine is the same reason that your garment has 4 corners for tzitzis. To recreate, Ephraim, to recapture that magic moment of the Exodus, of the Geula. Because we know that the first Geula is a roadmap, not a road trap, a roadmap of the final Geula. The Geula began in Mitzrayim, and it's going to end very soon now with the coming of the Messiah. So by wearing tzitzis, Reb Zalman, we are reinforcing our belief in what? In the final Geula, the same reason why 4 corners, why you have 4 cups of wine, keneged the 4 terms of endearment. Right? Hoitzeiti, vitzalti, v'galti, v'lakachti. Now, we know that the end of the parsha has to deal with the beginning of the parsha, right? The Meraglim. The Meraglim were great people. Roshei B'nai Yisrael Hema. They were all chief rabbis. Roshei B'nai Yisrael Hema, right? That's what the Torah says about them. All chief rabbis. The Torah says, Kulam Anoshim Roshei B'nai Yisrael. Each one was a Rebbe. And in fact, it says, Moshe sent Ish Echad. What does that mean? 1 man to a tribe. How come it says twice? It says Ish Echad. Should have said Ish Echad, 1 man to a tribe. How come it says twice Ish Echad? Says the Talmud Yerushalmi in Sota. A chief rabbi never goes alone. He always has a driver. Does a Rebbe go without a gabbai? Says the Talmud Yerushalmi Sota. It says Ish Echad. Why twice, Avraham? How many guys went? 12 Rebbes with 12 Gaboyim. Therefore it says Ish Echad. Because each was a Roshei B'nai Yisrael. A Rebbe never goes without a Shamus. Okay, so therefore it's not repetitive. Therefore it says Ish Echad twice. Then when they came back with the wicked report, it says that what? That Kalev and Yeshua v'Kalev, Karu Bigdeihem. They tore their clothes. Whose clothes did they tear? What? They tore their clothes because when you hear blasphemy, when you hear slander against Pisgat Zev, you have to go in Avelut. Kalev and Yeshua tore their clothes. So Pashup Pshat is they tore their own clothes. But the Kotzker Rebbe says something incredible. Fasten your seatbelts. You heard the Kotzker Rebbe? He was a Hasidic Rebbe and he wore a shtreimel. He said, remember, the Meraglim are all Rebbes. Rosh B'nai Yisrael, Hema. All Rebbes, leaders. And a Rebbe wears a fancy spudik with a kapata. When they slandered Eretz Yisrael, Kalev and Yeshua tore their clothes. Whose clothes? The Meraglim's clothes. When you slander Israel, you have no right to wear a shtreimel. You have no right to wear a kapata. Take off the leaders wear special clothes to symbolize that they are chiefs. Whether it was a spudik, or whether it was a shtreimel, whether it was a kafia, whatever it was, like a chief. Remember Cochise? They wore... The Meraglim tore their clothes. When you slander Israel, you have no right to be a leader and wear Rebbe's clothes. Kotzker Rebbe said that, and he was a Rebbe. Avram, now that begs the question. These great people, Rosh B'nai Yisrael, how could they slander the land of Israel? What went on in their mind? Yes, Shirley?
What did they actually say?
They said that the land eats up its inhabitants. Eretz oichelet yoshveha. You can't live in this country. Just like the fruits is bizarre and grotesque, so are the people bizarre and grotesque. It eats up their inhabitants. Wherever we went, we saw funerals. But they said they can't live here. It's impossible to live here. We're surrounded by enemies on all sides, right? You have 1 billion Arabs. If they spit on us, we'll drown in their spit. It's impossible to conquer the land. But these great people, they just lived through, it's a year out of the Exodus, right? Yeah. They just saw the Nisim Avraham of the Makot, Kriyas Yamsuf. It was just a year ago, or less. What happened with these people?
That's the Eagle.
What?
They were Eagle, and they were redeemed.
Okay, but it's a year after the Exodus. Right? So what happened with these people? Says the Zohar something amazing. They had frume cheshbonos. Frume cheshbonot. They had, how do you say that in English? They had religious cheshbonot, intentions. They made a cheshbon like this. Here in the Midbar, we have what? The best koilel in the world. The best koilel, right? Who's the chief Rosh koilel? Moshe Rabbeinu. Once you come to Pisgat Zev, no Moshe Rabbeinu. Never going to be better than a Rosh Yeshiva in Lakewood. There's never going to be a better Rosh Yeshiva than Moshe Rabbeinu. If we come to Pisgat Zev, Moshe, they know already, Moshe is supposed to die in the Midbar. So we're going to lose the best koilel, the best Rosh koilel. Besides that, here we have the man. We have the man. We have the Be'er Shel Miriam. We have what? Anane Yakovot. You come to Pisgat Zev, no more man. You have to go to Berman's Bakery. Which is very good. Wait online, though, and pay, 5 shekels for a roll. Or you go to Angel's Bakery. Here we're getting bread directly from God. Pisgat Zev, no free bread. But it's spiritual angel food. It's a pasuk in Tilim that the man Reb Yaakov was angel food. Not devil food. Remember Betty Crocker? Not devil food. It was really angels' food. And we're going to lose that. And the Be'er Shel Miriam and the Anane Yakovot being hugged by the one above. Better to remain in the Midbar, not to lose these 3 precious gifts. So it seems, Avram, they had what? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So what was wrong? Says the Sfat Emes, quoting a Zohar. Unbelievable. Right after the Chet HaMaraglim, Reb Yaakov, there are 3 mitzvahs listed. You can look it up. When you have Smichas HaPashis in the Torah, there has to be what?
Connection.
Very strong. Right after the Chet HaMaraglim, surely you have the mitzvah of Challah, Nisa Chayayin on the Mizbeach, and the mitzvah of Tzitzis. Why do you have these 3 mitzvahs right after the Chet HaMeraglim. Says the Sfat Emes, quoting the Zohar. These Meraglim was so great, they didn't give God the benefit of the doubt. They thought that when they come to Israel, God will remove these gifts. A Jew has to know, when God takes away a gift from him, he replaces it with something even better. Sometimes you won't see it until you get to the other side. But this is a message in Jewish life. When God takes away a gift from somebody, it means he will replace that gift with something better. But a lot of times you don't see it until what? Olam haba. So therefore, Rabbi Yaakov, these 3 mitzvahs were given right after the Chet HaMeraglim. Says God, you didn't judge me properly. You accuse me. You come to Pisgat Zev, there's no more man. I'm going to give you something better than man. The mitzvah of challah. Says the Zohar, when you come to Israel and you do the mitzvah of challah, every bagel you eat is a holy bagel. Free plug. Holy, get it? Holy bagel. Through the mitzvah of challah, Avram, says the Zohar, we are infusing all of the ochel in Eretz Yisrael with the kedusha of what? Of the man. So why is that better? Because the man was a welfare check. God gave, we took. Welfare recipient. When you do the mitzvah of challah, you are infusing your Berman's Bakery, your bagel with kedusha of the man. It's not a freebie. You are doing it through the mitzvah of what? Of challah. You are infusing the kedusha of the man in all of the food of Israel through the mitzvah of what? Challah. So next time you eat a holy bagel, the chama, it's really holy. What else did they say, Avram? Be'er shel Miriam. Those spiritual qualities of Miriam's magic well. You come to Pisgat Zev, no more Be'er shel Miriam. You have to drink Diet Coke, Zero, Pepsi, what? Crystal. What? Says the Zohar, through the mitzvah of Nisach HaYayin on the Mizbeach, all the drinks in Israel are infused with the Kedusha Be'er shel Miriam. Through the mitzvah of Nisach HaYayin, of pouring the wine libations on the Mizbeach, says the Zohar, all of the drinks that you drink in Israel has the Kedusha of what? Of the Be'er shel Miriam. And it's better, because the Be'er shel Miriam was what? A freebie, handout, welfare check. By doing Nisach HaYayin, and today you can't do it, if you study it, the Gemara in Menachos says, if you can't do the Karbanos, if you study it, it's Ki'ilu. So you study the Pasha of Nisach HaYayin on the Mizbeach, it's almost as good as what? Virtual, pouring the libation on the Mizbeach. Through that mitzvah, you are infusing all of your drinks, the Coke, Pepsi, I like Zero, with the Kiddush of what? Be'er shel Miriam. What else did they say? They said that here in the Midbar we have the Ananei HaKavod, being hugged by the one above, right? You come to Pisgat Zev, there's no Ananei HaKavod. There's something better. Tzitzis. When you put tzitzis al kanfei bigdeihem, vo'esa etchem al kanfei nisharim. When a Jew wraps himself in tzitzis, he is recreating that magic moment when God put us, what? Kaviochel on his wings, and he hugged us. So again, Ananei HaKavod is a freebie. When you do the mitzvah of tzitzis, you are recreating that hug by the one above, but you're making it happen. So when we do it, it has what? It has what? More value. So that was the mistake of the Meraglim. They shortchanged God. They didn't realize that when God takes away a matana, he replaces it with something better. Rivka, I think you had a question before I forget. The tzitzit, go ahead. Kanfei nisharim, kanfei bigdeihem, same word.
Or is Knafayim only big enough to carry the men?
Oh, so how come women don't what? Wear tzitzis? So to answer your question, I'll ask another one. Where do you learn out that you need 10 people for a minyan.
From the wrong spine.
From the Eda Hara, Rashi quotes the Gemara Sanhedrin, the 10 wicked spies, they made a Chil Hashem. So Rabbeinu Bachya says, therefore, we need 10 men. We accepted the slander of the spies, the 10 wicked guys. So you need 10 men to be metaken the Chil Hashem. How you metaken the Chil Hashem? Kiddush Hashem. By saying, Omen Yehi Shmei Rabbah. So 10 men to do Kiddush Hashem to be metaken the sin of the 10 spies. So Rabbeinu Bachya, how come women don't need a minyan? Beautiful. Because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. Said Rabbeinu Bachya before women's lib. The minyan is there to be metaken 10 for 10. 10 wicked spies. Chil Hashem. We accepted the slander. 10 men get together. Amen Yehi Shmei Rabbah. The tikkun of Chil Hashem is what? Kiddush Hashem. Said Rabbeinu Bachya, since women never accepted the slander of the spies, they were never guilty of what? Of the Chil Hashem. So he says, if it's not broken, don't bother to fix it. So therefore, women don't need a minyan. If they have a minyan, they're lowering themselves. Why do you need a minyan for? We need a minyan never to be metaken the Chil Hashem. Ladies never sin with the maraglim. So therefore, if it's not broken, why bother to fix it? Now, how come women don't wear tzitzis or a talit? Right? Say Rabbeinu Bachya, the root of the word mitzvah is tzadi vav, which means to bond with God. Bond. Not James Bond. B-O-N-D. Tzav in Hebrew, you can ask your Ulpan teacher, means to bond. Men need tangible symbols to help us bond with God. We need the props to remind us that God is hugging us. So we need to put on the talis to remind us that God is hugging us. Ladies have a bina yetera. They don't need the props. You ladies know that God is hugging you. You don't need a prayer shawl to remind you. We need the black boxes on our heads to remind us that we're wearing his crown, to focus on him. Women are naturally focused. Rabbeinu Bachya said this in the 1100s, 1 minute before women's lib. We need the props, Avram, talis, tefillin, to remind us, to help us bond with God. Women are naturally bonded. Women have a bina yetera. Therefore, the word shechina, the word for God, is feminine. Shechina is feminine. Neshama is feminine. Torah, mitzvah, it's all feminine. Zalman, men have verstopped the cup. We need tangible symbols to help us focus on him. Talis, tefillin, women are naturally focused. So for them to put on a talis, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Women know they're being hugged by God every moment. They don't need the tangible symbols. Rivka, that's the answer. But the women off the wall, Mebech, they don't know that. They never don't know that. It's not their fault. They're mixed up, what? Sapir.
No, you said the blue and that suffering and all that.
Right.
There's one of the sapir, there's also
Suffering, excellent, right? The suffering, right?
If the women of the wall or whatever
Yeah.
put on towels to fit them whenever, they're lowering themselves.
They are. They don't realize that they don't need it. If it's not broken, why bother to fix it, Ephraim? Right? They know they're being hugged by Hashem, al kanfei nesharim. We need the props. Ladies don't need it. What? Yes?
So, whenever it says B'nai Israel came out of Egypt, that's a masculine plural.
Right.
But that's absolutely only men came out of Egypt.
No, B'nai Yisrael means children. B'nai Yisrael means children of Israel.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
B'nai?
Thank you.
So, whenever God said
The word
B'nai
B'nai,
Israel,
Banim means children. Children.
it also
Now,
includes women.
right. In the Midbar, Elisheva, they had, listen, in Eretz Yisrael, no more Rosh Kollel, no more Moshe Rabbeinu. Never going to be a better Rosh Hashiva than Moshe and Aaron, right? And they saw the Shekhinah, every day they saw Amud Anan hovering above what? The Mishkan. And every night they saw Amud Eish. Pisgat Zev, you're not going to have that, right? You admit. You don't see no pillory fires at night. If you do, you got to take a pill and lie down. Right? But in the Midbar, every night they saw the pillar of fire. Everybody. And during the day they saw the cloud, not a UFO, hovering on the Mishkan. They saw the Shekhinah clearly. But Tilim Ayin Ches says something amazing. Vayechal b'hevel yamehem. They ended all their days in Hevel. The Dor HaMidbar, besides seeing the Amud Eish every night, besides seeing the Amud Anan every day, follow that cloud. Al pi Hashem yachnu, al pi Hashem yisou. When the cloud got up, they followed the cloud, right? They saw the Shekhinah clearly. They had the man and all the miracles, and yet King David in Psalm 78 says, Vayechal b'hevel yamehem. They ended their days in Hevel. What's Hevel mean?
Nothing.
Nothing. Why is it nothing? Because without Eretz Yisrael, it's all Hevel. What a powerful pasuk. I think King David was a Zionist. Psalm 78. He's speaking about the Dor HaMidbar, Sonia. All the miracles they saw, open miracles, right? And it's called Hevel. Why is it called nothingness? Because B'li Eretz Yisrael, it's all Hevel. What a powerful pasuk in Tilim 78. You could look it up. What?
Did they say that Tilim?
I don't know. Echal behevel yameim. It's all considered Hevel. So all the miracles and all the koilim in Chutz La'aretz, it's called Hevel. If you don't have what? What a powerful pasuk by King David in Psalm 78. Pretty amazing, right? So anyway, the Meraglim, it mentions all their names, right? And it mentions Vayalu b'Negev Vayovay at Chevron. Where do you know that you're supposed to go to a tzaddik's grave to daven? Kalev. It says Vayalu b'Negev Vayovay at Chevron. Kalev levadoy holach sham. Kolech went to be mispalel akivrei avot. So that's the minhag where you go to daven by the kever. You don't daven to the dead tzaddik.
No.
That's the wrong religion. You daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the schus of the tzaddik. Give me strength to withstand the pressure of what? Of the Meraglim. So Moshe sends them, and he changes Yeshua ben Nun's name. Why does he change Yeshua ben Nun's name? Why does he change his name? Hispalel olav. He prayed for him, may God save you from the council of the spies. Of all the Meraglim, whom did Moshe suspect would sabotage the mission?
Because
He only suspected Yeshua ben Nun. It's mind-boggling. His closest disciple, Abraham, only him he gave a bracha. He didn't suspect the other guys. He suspected Yeshua ben Nun, and therefore he added Yud K to his name. May God save you from the spies' evil counsel. Why in the world would he suspect his beloved disciple? Why? Beautiful. Because we know the story. Last week, Eldad and Medad prophesied that Moshe will die in the Midbar and Yeshua will lead the Jews into Pisgat Zev. And Moshe saw Yeshua's reaction. He went ballistic. How dare they say such a thing? My beloved Rebbe will die in the Midbar and I'll take over? I can't hold a candle to him. There must be a Navi Sheker. He went ballistic. Yeshua ben Nun did. So Moshe saw how affected he was about his own doom, that he heard the Nevuah that Moshe will die in the Midbar. So Yeshua ben Nun figured what? If I come back with a good report, my Rebbe's dead, and I got to take over. I'm a nobody. I can't fill my Rebbe's shoes, Rabbi Yaakov. Better to sabotage the mission. I will be extending my Rebbe's life by 39 years. So therefore, he had to be mispalel just for him. Despite all that, Yeshua, don't sabotage the mission. Even though you love me, it'll extend my life, but it's against God's will. So you come back with a good report, Moshe dies, and Pisgat Zev, next stop. But every cloud has a silver lining. Says Rabbeinu Bachya, says, Shlach lecha, Wherever it says the word lecha means for your benefit. The word lecha. Should have said shlach. Hakman says lecha. So Rashi says it's your idea. Reda Bachya, another interpretation. Lecha means for your benefit. For you it's good, Moses. If you don't send Meraglim, tomorrow we go to Pisgat Zev, you're dead today. You send Meraglim, it will extend your life by 39 years. You're Rebbeinu Bachya? Shlach lecha anoshim. For you it's good to send the men, because they'll come back with an evil report, thereby extending your contract by 39 years. Nechama, they will come back with a good report, or not send them at all. Moshe dies immediately. Next stop, Rechavia. So you see, every cloud has what? Silver lining. Terrible, tragedy, yet Moshe's life was extended not by 39 days. Ephraim, what does it mean that Moshe Rabbeinu to live another 39 years? It says, Rebbeinu Bachya shlach lecha anoshim. Now, Klei Yoka has another interpretation. What? I know, it extended his life. You have to admit that.
Is that what he's suggesting?
That's what Rebbeinu Bachya is saying. What? For you, it's good to send spies. You'll get an extension on your contract by 39 years. The Klei Yoka says something else. Shlach lecha anoshim. Says in Klei Yoka, it was your idea to send men. If you would have sent women, Matahari, Tokyo Rose, if you would have sent women, Klei Yoka says, it's not me, they would have come back with a good report. Because they have more emunah and bitachon in Hashem.
Just like they didn't cry.
And Jewish history would have taken a completely different turn. If you would have sent women, not men, come back with a rosy report, no Churban Bayit, no Tisha B'Av, no Holocaust. That's plan A. And Moshe Rabbeinu would have gone in. Plan A seldom works out. So now you sent men. Men have little amunah, kleine kepelach. How do you say that? Kleine kepelach compared to the ladies. So it did extend Moshe's life, okay? So every cloud, in fact, has what? Has a silver lining. Right? Moshe Rabbeinu's life was extended by 39 years, right? What? No, Moshe was ready to give up his life that the Jews should get to Israel as soon as possible. Now, why was this great man called Kalev? Isn't it strange for a rabbi to be called a dog? I mean, what's in the name? We know in Judaism, Kalev and Kalev, there are no dots in a scroll. This great tzaddik, this great Nasi, has a name for a dog. Ruvain, what's it all about? What's it all about? So Kalev is Kulo Lev. Kalev is an acronym, Kuloi Lev. A dog is loyal to his master. His whole heart is for his master. So Kalev ben Yefuna was Kuloi Lev for his master. Kalev is an acronym, Kuloi Lev, right? The dog is most loyal to his master, and Kalev taught that we have to be, look at the dog, how loyal he is to his master. We have to be what? Loyal to our master. Another reason why he's called Kalev. You ever see a dog? A dog is always digging beneath the surface. Never see dogs? They're always digging to find the buried treasure. The Meraglim were deceived by the superficial problems they saw here. There are problems here. But Kalev was Kalev. He knew dig beneath the surface. There's hidden Kedusha and beauty in Eretz Yisrael. There are superficial problems. But dig away till you find the buried treasure. The Meraglim were fooled and deceived by what they saw, but a dog digs down under. What looks like an obstacle for a dog is really what? A challenge. So Kalev, he knew that what looks like problems is really challenges. Right? And when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Start digging. Get it? Kalev, digging beneath the surface. Of course, very popular. Rivka, Kalev is a very popular name today. Yidden too. Yidden is a very popular name, Kalev. Kalev is a very popular name. Yes, especially among Sfardim. Kalev. The same word as Kelev. Huh? Don't be fooled by the superficial problems. Look beyond. Dig deep. Yes, Ruvain.
Doesn't it say, you talked about tzitzit before.
Go ahead.
Doesn't it say they're lo taturu, which is related to that part?
Beautiful. Rashi says, Loi taturu mitura oretz. Rashi says that the heart and the eyes are the spies of the guf. Loi taturu achrei levavchem mitura oretz. The end of the parsha is about spying your eyes. And the beginning of the parsha, spies. Remember, I spy? Spy versus spy. Rashi says, Halev anayim he meraglim laguf. The heart and the eyes are the spies of the body. Ayin roa, the eye what? Put your eyeballs back in the socket. The eyes see, valev chomed, and the heart lusts, vaguf oset averot. And the body does what? The averot. So be careful. Don't let your spies mislead you. What are the spies? I spy. Your eyes. You look where you're not supposed to look. Then you start lusting. And then what? The body does the averot. So the end of the parsha is connected with what? With the beginning. Now it's very interesting. It says in the Torah, "V'loi tuturu achrei levavchem v'achrei anechem." Don't stray after your heart and after your eyes. So the Torah mentions first what? Heart, and then it mentions what? That's how it works?
I thought it was the opposite.
Ooh, Ruvain. Rashi seems to fight the text. You have a saying on Wall Street, don't fight the text? Wall Street, they say don't fight the text. I'm mixed up. The Torah says, don't lust after your heart and your eyes. Rivka, is that the way it works? Rashi says no. Rashi says, ayin roa, first the eye sees, v'halev chomed, then the heart lusts, and then the body does the sin. So how come the Torah reverses the order, Avram? Rashi says, no, it doesn't work like that. You're fighting the text. The text says, don't lust after your heart and your eyes. So Rashi says, no. Ayin roa, first the eye sees. Then the heart lusts. That's how it works. So how come the Torah fadrate the order? How do you say fadrate? Reverses the order. You hear my question? So the Alshich has something incredible. The Alshich HaKadosh. Got to hear this, Ruvain. He says something amazing. He says, it happens sometimes you're on a bus and a woman sits next to you on the train that's not dressed properly. It happens, you know. Happens to the best of us, especially during the summer months. And you can't help but look. Are you guilty?
Yep.
No. Says the Alshich. Ooh, Avraham. Only levavchem yeinechem. The first look is on the house. The Alshich is saying this, not me. What?
You have one look.
You have one look on the house. The Isser is only levavchem. The Isser is only if the lev chomed. Therefore the Torah writes first halev chomed and then ayin roa. Should be the other way around. Says the Alshich, no. God is not out to beat you. We're only human. So the first look, you didn't plan to look, that's on the house. If you look again, oy vay vay. If you look again, that's the lev chomed. Your heart lusts and you look again. Then oy vay vay, shame on you. So therefore the Torah first mentions what? Avraham levavchem. Right? Only when your heart lusts and you look, are you guilty? But the first look, you didn't plan it. It wasn't a lustful matter. You just happened to sit next to a lady not dressed properly. There's no other seat in the train. Or she sat next to you. Right? So the heart didn't lust. You're not guilty.
Lust is sin without a performance
Yes, because alev chomed, va'ayin roa, the lusting itself is a sin. Now, Rivka, lusting for a cheeseburger is not a sin. There are two exceptions. Rivka, you have a good question. I can lust for a cheeseburger from the day till tomorrow, and if I don't eat it, I'm not guilty. There are two exceptions. Avodah zarah and gili arayot. I can lust to wear a shatnez suit from the day to the... Ooh, I want to wear a shatnez suit. Ooh, I want to wear a shatnez suit. I want to eat pig's knuckles. Ooh, I want to eat pig's knuckles. You can fantasize till tomorrow and you won't be guilty of anything, Avram. There are two exceptions. Avodah zarah and gili arayot. There, just for lusting, you get smacked. That's the word zonim. That's znut and avodah zarah. There, if the leiv chomed, therefore the heart is mentioned first. If you're enticed first and then your eyes look, you're guilty. But if you just look unplanned, then the Alshich says that you're not guilty, and therefore the Torah first writes levavchem, and only then it writes what? Enechem. What? Zonim. That's the word znut. There's physical znut and there's spiritual znut. Spiritual znut is what? Avodah zarah. That's avodah zarah, right? Now it's just amazing that the Haftorah. Now, the Ramban says that there was no sin in sending the spies, because the proof is that what? That Yeshua ben Nun did it 39 years later. The Ramban asked on Rashi, how could Rashi say that sending the spies was a chet? Didn't Rashi read the Haftorah yesterday? If it was a chet, how could Yeshua ben Nun make the same mistake 39 years later? So therefore Ramban says that sending the spies was not a chet. Otherwise Yeshua ben Nun would not duplicate it 39 years later. So how would Rashi learn the Haftorah? Rashi says sending the spies was a chet. The answer is you create your own reality. Rashi would learn. Once you send spies, you opened up a can of worms. I think it's called Pandora's box. Plan A, no spies. Once you send spies, you create a new reality. Plan B. Now you sin with spies. The tikkun in Yahadut has to come from the chet. Now Yeshua ben Nun had no choice, Avram, but to what? Why? Because we sinned with the Meraglim. How do you fix the sin in Yahadut? The tikkun comes from the chet. I'll prove it to you soon. Since we sinned with Meraglim, so Yeshua ben Nun had no choice but to send Meraglim, because you create your own reality. Now to send Meraglim, and they came back with a good report, that's the tikkun. I'll prove it to you. God says in Pashas Yitro, Mizbach Adama Tasali. I don't need a golden tabernacle. For me, is Mizbach Adama is enough. Earthen altar. I need fancy gold furniture. But when the Yidden sinned with the golden calf, so God said, take the gold and do it my way. Plan B. Plan A was Mizbach Adama. The entire world was God's altar. But the Jews showed that what? They needed golden symbols. They built a golden getchka. So now God says, we're going to take gold and make golden lovebirds and a golden ark. The Medrash says, Yovai zahav shebe mishkan, v'yechaper al zahav shenasa bo egel. Let the gold of the Mishkan come and make kapara for what? For the golden egel. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You Yidden broke it. You created a new reality. Now the only way to be Mesaken the Chet Egel, the golden calf, is what? A golden Mishkan with golden lovebirds. You sent Meraglim. The only way to be Metaken is to send Meraglim again, and this time do it my way. Okay? So you see, Rashi and Ramban are both right. Whether it's plan A or plan B, we create our own reality. So now the Meraglim were successful. They came back with a good report, because unlike Moshe Rabbeinu, who had a press conference announcing all the chief rabbis, the Ayin Hara affected it. Yeshua ben Nun sent them cheresh. What does cheresh mean? QT. Right? If you don't want ayin hara, you keep a low profile, and therefore Yeshua ben Nun's meraglim were metakein, the chet of Moshe Rabbeinu's meraglim. The Rebbe, the Talmud learned from the Rebbe. No press conferences. Sometimes the Talmud learns from the Rebbe, or many times the other way around, right? The Talmud says in Masechet Tanit, Harbe lamadeti mirabotai umetalmid ayota mikulam. It's so true. Rebbe said, I learned much from my Rebbes, but most of all I learned from whom? My disciples. It's so true. It's so true. But in this case, Yeshua ben Nun learned from his Rebbe not to call a press conference, to keep a low profile, and the spies came back with a good report. It's amazing that this woman, Rachav Hazonah, it's just amazing. She undergoes an amazing transformation. She was Madam X, and she became the Rebbetzin Yeshua ben Nun. The Rebbetzin Yeshua ben Nun. Can you imagine that? The second greatest leader the Jews ever had, Yeshua ben Nun. She became his Rebbetzin, and she became the great-grandmother of Jeremiah, not the bullfrog. Jeremiah the prophet. Rachav, this lady of ill repute, became such a ger tzedek, Yeshua ben Nun's wife. She was the elder bubba of Yirmiyahu HaNavi. Ask Yirmiyahu HaNavi, who was your great-grandma, Jeremiah? Ooh, should I tell you? Huh? Lady Madonna. Ooh. You imagine Judaism doesn't discriminate? You can be the lowest of the low, and you can pull yourself up and become the Rebbetzin Yeshua ben Nun, the grandmother of Yirmiyahu HaNavi. She could have said, there are 3 strikes against me. I might as well remain where? In the red light district. But she didn't say that. Amazing how Yahadut does not discriminate. Any person, no matter how low he is, can become a Rachav, a Ruth. It's up to you to create your own reality. Positive or negative. You go for it. Thank you very much.